keep telling y'all, street got no guard. God do not look after street. Boosie really thought he wasn't going to jail for that pistol. I knew he was going. I said, well, wait.
What's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Big shout out to all the day ones holding it down, and to the new faces sliding through. This is the spot where we break down the drama raw and unfiltered. Today's story is heavy, wild, and downright messy, so lock in, because this one's about to shake the whole internet. Oh, God is good, but these streets, they got no guard, no mercy. People really thought Boosie was never gonna land in jail over that pistol charge. But deep down, I knew this day was creeping closer, so I kept my distance. And now here it is, Boosie staring down a cold 10-year sentence on that federal gun case, and the internet wasted zero time jumping on it. And guess who was the loudest voice of all? Charleston White!
Cases stopped me from doing traveling all across the world making. So I just want to get it over with, and, you know, accept my guilty plea. I'm ready to get over with.
Anything you want to say to your fans?
Just say a prayer for me. I just need prayer. I don't need nothing else.
Charleston White was celebrating you taking the plea deal. I think he even said he hopes you die in jail and stuff like that.
Yeah, I heard.
The biggest thing right now was that you actually accepted a plea deal for your federal gun case.
Yeah.
Now, how long have you been fighting this thing from the very, very beginning?
I've been fighting for probably 3 years now, probably.
3 years.
The second the news broke, Charleston hopped on live like he just hit the lottery. He was cracking up, saying he always knew Boosie would end up behind bars. He bragged that he'd been saving this celebration for years. Then he twisted the knife even deeper, straight up saying he wouldn't care if Boosie never walked free again. Meanwhile, just earlier this month, Boosie had already confessed to fans that he took a plea deal. Tired, worn out from a case that chased him like a shadow he could never shake. Prosecutors had dropped it once before, but in 2024, they came back swinging harder than ever, re-indicting him with way more heat. That best choice plea deal, it could now cost him a whole decade of his life. While Boosie was online posting teary prayers about trusting God and admitting he was just exhausted from the fight, Charleston was online clowning, literally popping champagne like it was his birthday. Just picture it, one man praying for strength while another man laughs and dances on his downfall in real time. Boosie's legal mess has been dragging on forever, but this federal gun charge, it's shaping up to be the nail in his coffin. He got caught as a felon in possession of a firearm, one of the hardest charges to beat in the system. At first, fans thought he might have escaped it for good. When the case got dismissed in 2023, everybody believed Boosie was finally free to focus on music, family, and stacking money. But the feds weren't done. In 2024, they came storming right back with the same charge, basically saying, "Nice try, but we're not finished with you." That's when Boosie broke down and took the plea deal. On X, he admitted, "I thought this case was over and I was gonna get on with my life. But God don't make mistakes, and I'm tired of fighting." Those words hit heavy. This didn't sound like just another statement. It sounded like a man finally breaking down. Like Boosie was waving that white flag after years of running the gauntlet. And if you've been following him since Baton Rouge, you already know, this man been dodging heat forever. He survived cases, beefs, even health scares, but this one hits different. 10 years behind bars isn't just a little setback, it's a whole life changer. You could hear the exhaustion dripping off every word in his posts. This wasn't the same Boosie who used to clap back at everybody, trolling and fighting the whole internet like it was nothing. This time, he sounded cornered. Fans flooded his comments with love and prayers, begging him to stay strong, begging him not to fold under the weight. But Charleston White, oh, he went the complete opposite direction. The second he went live, he popped up with the biggest grin, talking about how he called it years ago. He made it clear, he never once believed Boosie was gonna dodge this bullet. And now that the 10 years are locked in, Charleston is beyond thrilled to rub salt straight into the wound. And if that wasn't savage enough, he pushed it even further, saying he hopes Boosie dies in prison. A shocking, ugly statement, even for Charleston. But let's be real, this is the same man who built his whole brand off being the most ruthless troll in hip-hop. And the timing? Man, the timing made it even nastier. Boosie hadn't even had a chance to breathe, hadn't even processed his fate before Charleston turned it into a full-blown comedy skit for the internet. When this beef hit live online, people thought it was brand new. But nah, this been brewing since late 2022. That's when Kanye West lit the internet on fire rocking that White Lives Matter shirt. Boosie stepped up, calling Ye out for disrespecting black people. And honestly, most folks were riding with Boosie on that one.
You were attacking Kanye because of the
Nah, that was This Kanye West shit just happened. Nigga been coming at me. He been coming at me. It's just, you know, I can't respond to those people, bro. Like, that's a danger to what I got going on. You can't take no risk of losing this shit behind me.
But Charleston, he wasn't having it. He jumped online blasting Boosie just for speaking on Kanye, and that's when the situation spun out of control. Charleston didn't just clap back at Boosie. Nah, he went straight for the jugular. He dragged Boosie's son, Tootie Raw, and even T.I.'s son, King Harris, right into the middle of the drama. He called them ugly, said they couldn't fight, and even predicted they'd end up in jail one day. That's when everybody realized Charleston wasn't just your everyday troll. He was built to hit below the belt and didn't care who got hurt in the crossfire. What really shocked people, though, was how calm Boosie stayed. Instead of snapping like everyone expected, he kept his cool. In an interview with Tony the Closer, Boosie explained why. Because the wrong words could land him right back in jail, especially after Charleston dragged kids into the mess. That told fans everything they needed to know. Boosie wasn't scared. He just knew Charleston was baiting him, setting traps that could destroy him if he reacted. But that calm didn't last long. By early 2023, the beef was boiling over. Charleston was already trolling T.I. over his so-called paperwork party, mocking him non-stop. And that's when Boosie's own son, Tootie, finally jumped in and the fire got even hotter. Tootie finally snapped back, firing shots at Charleston, calling him old, messy, and even telling him to go die. But Charleston, being Charleston, wasn't about to let that slide. He cranked the disrespect all the way up. He went live and said, "I hope your daddy died from that diabetes. I hope they don't send him the insulin 1 month." Who even says something that cruel? He basically wished death on Boosie just to stab at his son's heart. And then it got even wilder. Just weeks later, Tootie actually got arrested on gun charges. Charleston wasted no time taking credit for the whole thing. He bragged that he called the cops himself, tipped off the Department of Public Safety, and even sent in pictures as evidence. He claimed the police were already watching Tootie because, in his words, Boosie is a 6-time convicted murderer who uses kids to kill people. That's when everybody realized this wasn't just trolling anymore. Charleston's antics were spilling into real life and causing real damage. But it didn't stop there. Barely 3 months later, Boosie himself got arrested in San Diego, right after a court hearing. And of course, Charleston popped up on Instagram Live again, grinning like he just hit the jackpot. He told his followers it was all God's plan, even comparing Boosie to Daniel in the lion's den, like prison was some twisted spiritual test. Charleston flipped Boosie's pain into a sick sermon, acting like jail was God's punishment, while laughing through the whole thing. And even though Boosie tried to brush it off and play it cool, you could tell Charleston was living rent-free in his head by early 2024. The beef wasn't just internet entertainment anymore. It was turning into a dangerous obsession. At this point, it wasn't just rap beef anymore. It had spilled deep into internet culture. Aiden Ross was supposed to have Boosie on his stream, but Boosie wasn't trying to deal with Charleston's name constantly being thrown around, so he swerved the invite. But then Aiden flipped the script, spinning the story like he turned Boosie down out of loyalty to Charleston White. That little lie spread like wildfire until DJ Vlad jumped in, dragging Aiden for siding with a man who once praised Hitler and even denied the Holocaust. That moment showed everybody just how far Charleston's shadow stretched. Even young streamers were out here using his name like clout currency. And Charleston? He wasn't about to let things down. By March, he hopped back online claiming Boosie told promoters not to book him. But instead of leaving it at that, Charleston spun it into a whole rant, swearing up and down that he'd already contacted the feds and was ready to jam Boosie up over so-called threats. And you already know, Charleston had to make it nastier. He dragged Boosie's health back into the spotlight, mocking him just to twist the knife deeper. He went live again, swearing that the FBI was watching Boosie because of him. Did he have proof? Of course not. But Charleston doesn't need proof. He just yells it loud enough until the rumor feels real. And what made it even crazier? Boosie himself admitted he's been getting calls from dudes already locked up, laughing and asking, "When you coming in here with us?" Imagine that. You're carrying the weight of a federal sentence, and inmates are clowning you before you even step foot inside the prison. That's insult on top of injury, and Charleston knows exactly how to pile it on. Another detail folks whisper about, Boosie never even wanted to risk going to trial. He went straight for the plea, and honestly, who could blame him? Just imagine Charleston White showing up in that courtroom, the same man who lives for chaos, ready to turn the whole trial into a circus. pointing fingers, running his mouth, maybe even testifying, and then sprinting to the blogs before the judge's gavel even dropped. For Boosie, that risk just wasn't worth it. And here's the craziest part, it ain't even far-fetched. Charleston has a whole history of cooperating, and he's never tried to hide it. Records show that when he was just 14, he got caught up in a robbery with other teens. During that robbery, one of them, Antoine Doolittle, pulled the trigger and killed a man named Michael Levy. When court time came, Charleston testified against him. Now in street culture, that's unforgivable, even if you're a kid. And to this day, people drag him for telling on his own crew. But Charleston, he doesn't run from it. He leans all the way into it. He's even said, "I was young, I was in court, I told the truth." That's not snitching, that's survival. And he's doubled down time after time, saying he never lived by no so-called street code and doesn't care who gets mad about it. Wild, right? This is the same man who calls rappers rats while proudly admitting he snitched himself. And recently, old footage from that juvenile case resurfaced online. The internet lit him up all over again. People blasted him as a hypocrite, preaching about the street code one day, then bragging about testifying the next. But Charleston, instead of backing down, he just got louder. He thrives on contradiction. It's literally his fuel. And that's exactly why Boosie's decision to skip trial and grab that plea deal makes perfect sense. He knew the courtroom wasn't just about the feds. It was about Charleston turning the spotlight into his own twisted stage. The last thing Boosie wanted was to gamble with Charleston White popping up under oath. This is the same man who brags about calling the cops, setting people up, and wearing snitch like it's a badge of honor. With somebody like that lurking around, Boosie knew better than to roll the dice in court. If Charleston even had the slightest chance of being tied to the case, you already know, he would have turned that courtroom into his own personal comedy show. Just picture it, Charleston pointing fingers, cracking jokes at the jury, then hopping on live right after, screaming, "I helped put Boosie away." And the crazy part, that's not even a stretch. That's exactly how Charleston moves. He thrives on turning real life into a circus, every single chance he gets. And that's why he's so loud right now, because to him, this ain't just another rapper caught in legal trouble. This is karma, his prophecy coming true right in front of everybody. Think about it. Trace the beef back to 2022. The jabs at Tootie, the disrespectful online rants, the arrests, the constant snitch talk. It almost feels like Charleston's been waiting, maybe even praying for this exact moment, for Boosie to finally be staring at a decade behind bars. And here's the kicker. Boosie ain't even locked up yet. He's still walking free for now. But with that plea deal hanging over his head, those 10 years look way too real. Meanwhile, Charleston is already clowning online like the game is finished, dancing, laughing, celebrating as if he's the one who won. The streets are split. Some are laughing right along with Charleston, while others are staying quiet, just waiting to see if the hammer is really about to drop on Boosie for good. But here's the part that stings the most. If Charleston is this loud while Boosie is still technically free, just imagine the circus he'll create on sentencing day. The internet won't just break, it'll explode, with Charleston front and center, clowning like it's his championship parade. So what do y'all think? Is Boosie really about to lose this battle for good, or can he somehow flip it around? Drop your thoughts in the comments, smash that like button, share this with your people, and don't forget to subscribe so you don't miss what happens next. I'll see you on the next one.